Hello and welcome everybody, I'm your humble host Gavin the Kitty, and today we are streaming Mega Man 01. It's gonna be a bit of a rough game all around. The edges of this game are real rough, but I'll be doing my best. I've done a little bit of practice beforehand, but I'm still not anywhere near where I was at beforehand. We're gonna be using the Mega Man 0ZX Legacy Collection, which has tons of extra features and stuff. You'll find that even in the Zero games, 03 specifically, there's a lot of really good stuff in this collection. I highly recommend it, so if you like anything that you see here, go give this game a shot. Hello Zenny, hello Skylar, hello Sylveon, Zenny says TWT, Flashing Blades, hey, welcome. OG03, thanks. That's in this game. I mean, 03 is here. We are going to be using the casual scenario and the save assist, just because I am not as skilled at the Zero games as I am at X, and I'm not as skilled as X as I am at Classic, so. The Yoi? I have no idea what that means. Alrighty. So, let's just get started here. First off, I do want to show off this collection, because a lot of people have been writing this collection off, as I've noticed online, which is surprising. So, like, you have art pieces from all of the games, you know, everything, including the extra art pieces made for this collection, and stuff for Battle Network. On top of that, oh, almost forgot, the bonus cards, which you unlock through getting achievements. You can turn them on or off, and these react to 03. We'll be getting to all of those when we do 03 in about, 2 streams from now. They also have the Z Chaser mode, which is a lovely 2-player mode if you want to race your friends against a couple stages. Let's just jump right into 0 then, while I catch up on chat, because I'm the only one here today. The title screen for Mega Man, you love it. Ah, gotcha. New game. Sylveon says, and then there's me who's skill at cheesing Zero games and sucks at base. Okay. Flashing Blade says, how's my week? My week is okay. I felt really, I don't know whether it's the air quality, my teeth that I still need to get pulled, which I have it scheduled. It's just not, we're not there yet. It's either my teeth, the air quality, the insane heat and cold of the indoors and outdoors, or just me being sick, but I have felt really woozy and faint and nauseous lately, and it's not been fun, and it's been making me worry about these streams. Deadman Joe, welcome. Sylvan says they despise Mega Man Base. Well, we're not playing Mega Man Base. Hello Zeke, welcome. No, that's not Sylveon, please don't. Deadman says probably the Sahara dust. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. All I know is it's not fun. It doesn't happen to me this constant. Like, yeah, maybe it'll happen a day or two into the year, but not like this. So, there's a lot that happened. We are in 22XX. We are 100 years removed from the X series. What happened since X8? Well, Zero locked himself away for research and study on how to, get rid of the Maverick virus. All of his weapon systems were disabled, and he was given a new body. Meanwhile, a replica Zero went and fought alongside X in the later years into the Elf Wars, and was later locked away for being too powerful and ended up getting corrupted. Zero's mind was placed back inside this body, which is a replica body, and the original body was locked away. Zero hasn't been spoken of. X ended up ruling Neo Arcadia instead, and eventually their solution to the Maverick virus ended up kind of going rogue and changing the reality itself through, how powerful it was. And instead of solving that problem, X uses his body as a gate for it, essentially holding it back. in sealing it inside of his own body, but that damned him to be a cyber elf. Cyber elves are essentially Reploid souls, and now there is an energy crisis, and without the real X there to solve the problem, CL developed a... CL's this character right here, by the way, developed a Copy X. Copy X, having all of the responsibility, but none of the ethics training, cracks under pressure and decides that it is going to absolutely destroy all Reploids for the sake of humanity. Because it wants humans to live more than Reploids, not understanding that X cared for both. And of course, CL is a human, but with everything going Maverick, there's only one hero left for us to call. And we gotta activate him quick, or CL's gonna die. So, let's get this game started, shall we? That's all the lore, by the way. That's all I need to say for now. There's a lot more that's gonna go into this. Zane says, "Oh, Gavin, you need to try and relax when you can." I'm trying my best. Flashing says, "You're having teeth trouble too?" Yeah, I got a hole in the back molar, and we're getting all 4 of my molars pulled, so eventually. Worst root canal in my life yesterday. Yikes. Sylvian says, "From 0 to 0. No, from 0 to hero. Sylvian says, "That time X and 0 had..." No. Alright. So, I'm sorry chat's going to get glossed over most of today. This game requires a lot of focus. And we're going to start by changing my controls up. Once again, we are playing on the Rookie Hunter style mode. Alright. Main weapon, jump, dash, sub-weapon. Oh, do I just want to do a custom for this? We'll just do a custom. Main weapon, jump, dash is on L, sub is on R. I can work with that. Alright, so 0 starts out with a Buster, and that's it. We gotta level up this Buster. This game is a Metroidvania in all in all manner of speaking. And it's gonna come into handy. We've still got our dash, we still got our jumps, all that and more. CL had to sacrifice one of the Cyber Elves to make 0 come back to life and get activated. They wouldn't have normally had to do that. In fact, 0 probably would have had all his memories if they didn't, but kind of in a dire situation of be killed by the X-clones or, you know, get saved by a possible amnesiac 0. And, of course, yeah, he's lost his memory, but not his fighting skill. He's still got all that and more. We don't have a charge shot or anything yet, but we will get it soon enough. So what's everybody's thoughts on this game? What's everybody's thoughts on the collection? These are good questions to ask, because, you know, I love these games, but... CL needs rescued again. Zane says I'm getting glossed. Confused. Flashbase says his version of Zero's theme slaps hard and ended up in Smash. It did. And Zenny says, "Let's go, woo." Sylvian says, "I like the part where Zero says... No. No." Flashing Blade says, "The X-bots are called Pantheons." Thank you. I'm sorry. Minor things like that tend to slip my head. Especially with how much stuff I've had to memorize for this video. Sylvian says, "T for Gore." KE949, hi, welcome. Nah, 0-1's fine. It's okay. It's not the best in the series, but it's okay. Oh yeah, the collection versions of these games have very little input lag. They have a pixel-perfect resolution that's not too awful. It's got a softening filter, a Game Boy original filter that is different for the DS titles in this collection. And just like this, we just gotta beat this Mechanoid here. Try not to hit CL, or that'll lower your rank. I don't think it does too much. And just like that, we got a mysterious friend coming to save our ass. Kind of mimicking a little bit of a certain X game you guys might have played. We just got our new weapon, the Z-Saber. Our stuff is maxed out per requisite, so I've got all sorts of fancy moves, and that's going to be the way it's going to be handled going forward. 0, 3, and onward end up giving you all the powers for 0 right off the bat because they found that it just did not affect difficulty. So we're just gonna, or I figured why not play like this? Play it a way that makes me comfortable and allows the game to keep a solid pace. So here we learn that CL's a scientist and has been working to solve the energy crisis, and seems to have stumbled across something from the past that might have helped out. But it got lost in the shuffle of the Maverick Wars, the Robot Masters, and the Cyber Elves. Gonna return the base and find out my rank. Collector. Of course. Alright, well, we have some prospects here. I got 6 people watching, so if you guys are having a good time so far, please drop a like. It helps the video out in the algorithm. It helps out a lot more than what most people think, so drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Anyways, we're going to help CL. And we're going to help the Resistance push back against Copy X. Or, as we know now, it's X, but as we're going to be learning, it's a copy. And, we're not going to get any new weapons yet. Of course, the base here is full of stuff to do. I believe the original idea behind it all was to have side quests and things here. But yeah, Zero does not remember most things. He remembers fighting. He remembers there was a guy named X, but not really much more about it other than they were friends. And we're basically going to be filling in the gaps here. What happens if I say no? Then she begs and pleads for you to say yes. Flashing Blades to 02s was the most interesting. I can agree there. I definitely... I got my roommates interested. I got Karmic, my boyfriend, and everybody else in the house interested in the Zero games by just... Everybody except for Brent, who is already kind of interested. Interested in the games just by playing and practicing for the stream. 04 was unnecessary. 04 was made for a very silly reason. 03 did that well that Inti Creates was given a prerogative. You can either continue the Zero games, make some more money for Capcom and for themselves, or they could lose the Mega Man license. So that was kind of their derogative, and they were worried about not making any other games because everything else Inti Creates had made up till this point was a flop. It either didn't come out, got canceled, or ended up with such a small niche of people liking it that they just ended up not doing well. They were on the verge of bankruptcy when they made 04. Keiji and Afune actually went to the offices and said, hey, what are you guys working on? Because it was full of ex-Capcom and Sega and Konami alumni. So their whole thing was like, okay, what are you guys working on? And what do you need my help with? Because you guys haven't put out like a hit or anything, and I know this team is better than that. And they convinced Capcom to get the license to Zero and said, here, I will helm the series and you will do this. So this is what KG was doing while the X series started X 6, 7, and 8 and Command Mission. So, yeah. Also, along this time, he was also starting work on DMC4 a little later on that year. Or, well, like pre-production planning stuff for DMC 3 and 4. It wasn't this early on, but it was like later on at a 04, if I remember correctly. So the Pantheons are like little worker drones. They're Reploids without feeling or purpose. They are essentially a rogue police force. And this is Aztec Falcon, our first elemental boss. Elements are going to come in handy here. We're going to try to stop him before he can put an end to the Reploids down there. Flash Invades 03's final boss was peak, so they couldn't really top that with 04. I like 04 more than 03, but I've played 03 more than 04, so I don't know. My opinion might change by the time we get there. A small price to pay for ZX1. Yeah, ZX1 is really good, so I can't wait to get to that too. Pantheons remain next to his image to enforce his presence to strike fear into the enemies in near Arcadia. There's not many enemies left on the Earth. A lot of the planet around here is just desert. And in fact, just a couple of miles away is the crater impact from X5 and 6. So what we got there is the element chip for the elect element. Now when I charge up my saber, it has electric element, and then I charge my buster, it has electric element. These are cyber elves. We were collecting them. We would be collecting them throughout the stage if I wasn't playing on an easier difficulty. But essentially, the cyber elves allow you to upgrade 0. So if I click to download elf, you can have up to 3 here. And the way this works is you install them on a tile. Some of them will give you sub tanks and stuff. This mode gives me all of the elves with none of the drawbacks of them getting destroyed, because cyber elves are destroyed when they're used. They're killed. They are nothing but dust in the winds. They take all of their power to help you. And these guys will boost up defense, abilities, my boots and everything. These guys change like bosses, enemies, and stuff. And this one is this one's broken, but we're not gonna give that a go. We're just gonna return to base. We're not gonna be using any of the cyber elves. Essentially, we have all the health ones equipped, but that's about it. So if you're worried about difficulty being way too easy on this mode, don't worry about it, because all you have is more health, a little bit more defense, and all 4 sub-tanks. So shouldn't be much to worry about. Crater? Yeah, a giant space colony crashed into Earth back in X5 and 6, back in 21XX. The whole planet's basically desolate other than Reploids and a small settlement of humans. And this is Neo Arcadia, the only bastion of hope left in humanity. Yeah. Sigma taking notes from Xeon. Yep. That sounds about right. So, we're gonna get moving here. So, whenever I want to start a mission, I'll talk to CL. We just got the escape unit. But first, we're gonna come down here. Well, unequip the elect element here, because I don't need it right now. You'll know what element you're on by the color of the saber in the corner. The more energy crystals we have, the more we will be able to infiltrate the base. This mode gives us lots of energy crystals, so we're going to be helping out people. There we go. We got him back online with some energy crystals, and we're able to explore further into the base. This room will become important later. If I remember correctly, there's a side quest there for energy crystals later on in the game. I don't know off the top of my head, so it's likely going to just be... I'm likely going to be missing a lot of stuff. Servo, I don't know. Servo. I'm just going to call him Servo, because I legitimately cannot pronounce that. All the names here are inspired by French names, so you'll find a lot of clever French puns in this game by all the names. He's working to develop some new weapons for us, and also manage our energy resources. Zenny says, this game series is kind of depressing. Actually, it's rather hopeful. The whole goal of Dr. Light in the first classic series is that robots and humans will be living together in harmony and peace. And he eventually gets that wish. But for now, it's gonna be a lot of fighting. And once we finish up with ZX Advent and we get to Legends, you'll see that it really was for a good ending. Like, and whatnot, but yeah. So sometimes people forget that Cyber Elves can take on their true form and fight. Yeah, Cyber Elves can take on their true forms and fight, but Cyber Elves will also die rather quickly because their defenses are rather low. Karmic says, with Street Fighter 6 taking place when it is, we could realistically have a Mega Man versus Street Fighter that takes place shortly after 6. Yeah, that's true. Servo's right, it's wordplay. Good ending, question mark, insert Boomstick Legends 3 rant here. No, we're not going to get into Legends 3. I'm happy with Legends 1 and 2, and I can't be upset forever about something that doesn't exist. Yeah, it was in the works. It could come back at any time. Projects aren't just canceled forever. They come back in different ways and forms, so for Legends 3, I will hold out. So, I have 3 options for you guys in chat. We can destroy the train, find the shuttle, or retrieve data. First person to say what they want is the one I go to. Second up will get the next mission. Smash the train! Got it. We gotta destroy their supply on the train. We're underneath the base in the subway tunnels. To the left of me is the base. I'll showcase how the world's connected in a bit, but for now, just know base is up top there. To the left here is a different way, but we want to go to the right, as CL's telling me on the bottom of the screen. With the spin slash, this game really does break wide open. Our goal is to not get hit as much as possible, and destroy as many guys as we can. Up here, I believe, is another Cyber Elf. Anytime you see weird movement, it's probably me showing off where a Cyber Elf's at without me. Yeah. Those little icons there are part of one of the easier modes of the game. They allow for... Those are extra checkpoints, so that way then you don't game over. Zero has 1 life in this game, so you get continues, but every time you die, it's a game over. So keep your wits about you and start playing good, because this game likes to kick your teeth in, which is why this collection is awesome, because it doesn't kick your teeth in as much. Sylveon, just because you have zero faith doesn't mean you have to shout it to the world and tell them all to stop being hopeful for the Legends series. So the train's on its way. We've got these Pantheons that are upgraded with flying gear and Gutsman style gear. Trying to get us to stop going to the front. Well, joke's on them. I'm getting to the front. We're gonna equip the Elec there. Zenny says smash train. Sylveon says data. Flash and Blade says they like trains. Zenny says motif. Sylveon says they're a masochist. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to doom the series in your own head. I mean, what would make Okay, here's my question. What would make people want this... What would make this series not be dead in the eyes of everybody. You know, because we get a new game every now and again. Yeah, it's not always what everybody wants, but we get a new game every now and again. We got X-Dive, we got Mega Man 11, we get collections. I mean, what about that screams dead? I don't get it. 3D All-Stars came out for Mario and nobody said, oh, Mario's dead, they put out a collection. Like, what? Zelda goes a couple of years without a new game and nobody's screaming, Zelda's dead. But the minute it's got to do with Metroid or Mega Man, you guys are like, it's dead. It's like, no, it's not. I do not understand it, and I will never understand it. The amount of hopefulness that this franchise had, then going directly into, it's dead, it'll never come back, is like, what? It's why I started playing these games through the channel. It's why I started the Mega Man Ultimate Guide to Mega Man, because I wanted to show that there's more good to this series. It's not dead. Look at everything we have. Drives me nuts. Okay, but does Legends 3 really have to come back for it to be alive? It was alive when Legends 3 wasn't even being thought of. The PlayStation 2 games, the DS games, Game Boy Advance, on the Wii and 360. And yet, we went one console generation. I mean, I don't get it. Alright, well, we're gonna switch back to this and get our way back up to the top. We stopped the train supply. The whole goal of this game is just to make them listen for once. Make the Neo-Arcadians listen to reason. So, we're not actually, like, trying to destroy anything. Sylvan says they're pessimists for life. Okay, well, okay. Flashing Blade says, I mean, it would ease any sense of doubt. Yeah, it would ease any sense of doubt, but so would just putting out a different... Like, so then Mega Man 11 wasn't easing people's doubts? I don't know, I just think that's a little silly. So we gotta find the shuttle, retrieve data, occupy factory, or rescue Kolbor. Erase. Yeah, but still. X-Dive offline looks great. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked for that. So which mission we go into next? It doesn't really matter which order I do things in, so. Up to you guys. I just think the Zero Games is a find shuttle. Perfect. Thank you, Zeke. Yeah, no, I just think that... I just think that talking about the series in a positive light and, you know, being hopeful for the future of this franchise is gonna do better... Okay, when I talk about this series like that, I mean, like... It does more for gaming morale when you talk about something positively, right? Like, yeah, we can sit and argue and say it's dead all day, but what does that do to the developers? Because you and I both know, everybody knows, the developers look at social media. What do you think they see when they see Mega Man is dead being posted by so many? What do you think they feel? Oh, it's a dead franchise in the eyes of the community, which means they must not want more. You know, and I think that was a leading cause of the problem, was this pessimism. This series is so hopeful, and yet the fans are so pessimistic, and I don't get it. I do not understand it. Like, I understand we went a couple years with some mixed games. Like, not awful, but not great. But I don't think, you know, a couple years without a game means that it's dead. And then he says they'll let somebody else pick. Flashing Blade says, well, yeah, I mean, we had next to no hope for a Battle Art collection, but our 15-year wait was rewarded. Yeah, exactly. But I had hope that there was a Battle Network collection. Because it only made logical sense. This isn't Disney we're talking about here, it's... they do take fan input into account. Exactly. So if we're going to be... If you guys want this series to continue lasting, be hopeful. Tell the devs, I want a new Mega Man game. This series isn't dead. You know, just literally, like, go find them on Twitter and just bug them and just be like, hey, we want a new Mega Man game. If enough people are like, we want Legends 3, they will give it to us. We have to be loud. We have to loud and scream for hopefulness. We can't scream that the series is dead. And that's been something I've been saying for years. I've been in this fan base for a long, long time. This franchise got me through a lot of hard points in my life. But I'm gonna be honest. When I go on forums and things, and I saw people saying that the series is dead over 1 or 2 games being canceled, I was like, what? Yeah, I'm like, it's just confusing to me. Like, video games are hard to make. Sure, we don't need a game every year, but like, don't shout that the series is dead just because we went a couple of years without something new on a home console. Because Capcom still thought about the franchise. Because if anything, we still got, you know, collections, we got books, we got mangas, we got, you know, mobile games, we got cameos, like who remembers Dragalia Lost? We got that. We got Smash Brothers. Like, there's so many, like, little cameos and things that I don't see people talking enough about. So our goal now is to get him back to base, unharmed. I don't believe 02 brings back this style of mission. With good reason. We're just gonna I'm gonna try my best here. But yeah, with the game so desolate, I have to talk about the series, and I have to talk about the fans, and I gotta call out the pessimistic fans out there. Like, what's the point in being, you know, saying it's dead? You know, Devil May Cry has gotten the same treatment. I don't know if anybody noticed, but they got they went a long time without a new game, got a brand new game that was fantastic, and now they're getting a mobile game. The series isn't dead just because it gets a mobile game instead of a new console title. The series isn't dead because it went a couple years without a new game. The amount of things that I've had to tell people about this series to get them interested is ridiculous. I remember if you look on Google and look up Mega Man, one of the first questions asked on Google is Mega Man dead? Like, what? I don't know. I'm just gonna be confused about that forever. I've mentioned before that a lot of the Mega Man fan base just seems very pessimistic. And I've mentioned this before to people who are, like, heads of the community. People like Flashman85 Live and Reploid Revo and Shadow Rock X. And they don't seem to realize that it is. I've asked them before, I'm like, what do you mean you don't think it's pessimistic? Like, have you talked to people? Or are you only talking to the select few? Like, what? This fan base is screaming at Capcom that it's dead, even though it's not. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm gonna perpetually be confused about this, and I'm sorry if I sound complainy about it, but It really is, like, what? The Flash-based challenge accepted. Certain song by Lonely Island describes my reaction to Mega Man showing up in Smash. Zenny says, I feel that, Gavin. I loved Halo, and the last few games have been bad, but I still want the series to do well, despite my own annoyances. I don't want to play Halo Infinite, but maybe the next one will be nice. Yeah, exactly. DMC 5 was an apology for DMC Devil May Cry. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't! You want to know how I know it wasn't? Because Considered on the Table was a sequel to DMC Devil May Cry when developing DMC 5. The internal team at Capcom loved making that game. They loved working with the outside studio to make that title. I know they did, because they stick references to it all over the place. Hey, Mountain Man, how you doing? I'm alright myself. I'm just a little bit out of it. I don't have a co-host for today, because Casey's out, so if you'd like to join, Mountain Man, feel free to. So now we're going back through the lab where we were found. We're gonna make our way up. We're making our way downtown, walking fast, strangers pass, and we're homebound. I have no idea why I'm doing this. Anyways, making our way through the tunnel. Up there is gonna be something kind of neat in a bit, but not yet. Buster is the most underrated weapon in this game, but it is insanely powerful. So, if you're having trouble slashing through the enemies, try playing it more like an X game and just using the Buster and the dash. Because you will walk away impressed with how much you'll be able to destroy. I learned this from a speedrunner, so if you're ever in doubt about the Buster and like, oh, I just want to use the sword because that's Zero's weapon, just like, try the Buster. Like, trust me, it deals a ton of damage. And the charge shot is insanely powerful, and since it's not too much bigger, it still fits into a lot of the nooks and crannies of the game. Andre says, hey, how you doing, bud? Alright. We're gonna go fight a elephant. I guess they got the new Mario power-up early. Okay. Well, despite all that, how's everybody in chat doing? Sorry for being a bit of a complainer about the series for a little bit, but, you know, happens. This boss fight's nice. I love that we're back in the capsule to try to get data, but with all of this shaking around, he's gonna cause a cave-in. I do also like the fact that they have the Omega symbol underneath the health bar. Because these guys aren't technically Maverick, they're acting on Copy X's will. Which, Copy X is the head. They're acting on behalf of Omega. Which is going to be something that we'll learn later. So, Copy X and Omega. Two copies, two different games. Just like that. Goes right down. Sylveon sends an elephant. Mountain Man says, can't turn today. I have PC apart. Getting ready to finally move into the new house tomorrow. Oh, nice! Congrats, dude. Sylveon says, you thought Maha was a dude? I have no idea. Most of these characters, I have no idea. So now we have a little escape sequence. We gotta get out of here before this crashes down. And just like that, each of these doors is going to try to shut to delay the inevitable, but since Zero's not fast enough to get behind them, the lab is just straight up gonna get destroyed here. And just like that, stage is done. Marcin, welcome. And Sylveon says, the escape sequence is Yes? I thought that was pretty easy. I didn't practice this section. Just a couple sword slashes? Not too bad. Alright, up here is another cyber elf. And some energy crystals. All you gotta do to get up there is just kind of do the old wraparound. I do like the control scheme with dash being on the L button. Although it does throw me off when going from the X games to 0. Oh, come on. I can do this. Anyways, never mind. We'll just get a move on. Alright. Mapman says thank you. Ready to finally have my own place. I'm glad you're finally gonna have your own place, man. It's awesome to see all my friends getting houses around the same time. Marsden says, here's the thing I bet you didn't know. 26 choose 2 is 325. Well, I'm not really looking at math right now, so thanks for the tip, question mark. So, that mission was just something to help Zero try and get his memories back, but didn't really work, and Ciel's like, I'm sorry, Zero, you're sorry it didn't end well. Probably would have been better if we, you know, were prepared for it. But Zero's like, yeah, whatever. We're in this for the long haul, right? I'm alive, I gotta do something. And here's the new weapon, the triple rod. This weapon's another really good one. It's kind of interesting, actually. Go with Buster and triple rod. So, triple rod allows us to attack. We have one off the bat, and then we get multiple as we tap and mash. It also has a charge-up ability, which allows me to spin. And believe it or not, the downward attack and everything else is really, really powerful when in proper hands. I'm probably not skilled enough to use it, but we're gonna give it a go anyways, so. We got a couple different ones. Duel in the desert, find the hidden base, rescue Kolbar, occupy the factory. Your guys' choice. Flash and Place says, still lurking, currently cataloging my old Pokemon cards to sell. Oh, nice! Sylveon Chin, sorry you almost died. No, it's sorry we couldn't get the data back. Because Zero really doesn't care if he dies again or not. You know, you gotta try to get the memories back, right? Factory. Alright, that works with me. So, back this way is where the base is at. I think after this next stage, I'm going to show you guys how the world map connects. So, I do like this background. I like that the artwork for it was later reused in I believe it was 02, 03, and ZX had a version of this. But this is the easiest path to do, is get right up top here on the domes. Shoot the... What hit me? What? I'm confused. What was that? Shoot him, get that down. Up. There we go. This path is going to let us be unseen by most enemies. that. Get our way down. That was not what I was trying to do. Find the hidden base will be the next one we do. So I missed my little extra checkpoint there, so we're back at the start of the stage. I'll show you guys the lower path, just for the heck of it. I usually do the top route, but hey, why not? So, the Zero games are playable in 3 to 4 forms. So you can do the original Game Boy Advance. Yeah, so we can either do that or we can just go up top. And I prefer going up top. There you go. That's what's down there. But, yeah, you can play it in the Game Boy Advance, you can play it on the Wii U Virtual Console when that was still a thing, and you can play it on the Zero ZX Collection, but the other form that you can play it on is they actually made a collection for the DS that, less people know about, for some reason. I don't know whether it was because of limited copies or whatnot, but I rarely find a copy of it. The Zero Collection was a DS release that had Zero 1 through 4, all of the cards, all the cards that are that were Japan only, and it also had extra little background stuff from the bottom. And believe it or not, because of the collection emulating ZX Advent, this collection here is running the Zero collection in a slightly different form factor. So, the more you know. It's not actually running the Game Boy games, which is something a little funny, at least to me. It's not that expensive, but it's also not that talked about. It's one of those things where it's not that rare. You can find it, and when you find it, it's rather cheap. But when I was growing up, I couldn't find it. I had to extensively search for it, and I ended up paying like $50 for it at the time. But now we have this collection, so that probably also factors into the fact that the price isn't what it used to be. You know, when things are readily available on modern consoles, it's kind of amazing what can get done. This area is so neat to do fast, but I am very rusty with this area, so like I said, the Zero games are something where it's like I'm good at them when I sit and practice, but I don't play them enough to actually stay good at them, right? Like Mega Man 1 through 11, I'm great at. I will sit and breeze through those games. But something like this, I'm just like, eh. Same with the X games. I don't know what it is about those two series, but when I sit down and play them, I feel like, not really worth it. Not to mean those are bad games, I just have less fun with them. Unlike, you know, the Legends games, where I will sit and play this for hours. We're gonna hop right on up here. So each of these are corresponding to an element, and we're just gonna stick to lightning and hope for the best. Each of the arms can be nicked off. I don't find this boss too challenging, but, you know, each their own. I know I used to struggle with this guy, just because it threw everything at you. Alright, let's switch to Saber, shall we? Keep accidentally hitting the touchpad button. As with the majority of these Mega Man videos, I am running this on PlayStation 5, so... Well, it will try to reattach arms, by the way, so... Don't think you've won just because you've gotten rid of a bunch of arms. Just like that, boss is done. Remove the use of the word die, death, and kill. Yes, they did. Oh yeah, there's a lot of really cool boss concepts, and with that, we just got our next chip. That is the flame chip right there. That will allow us to use fire elemental attacks. The giant enemy Mechanolord is approaching the base. So once you've beaten a number of missions, you will have this mid-mission. So, it is a bit more flexible than, say, the X series with any mid-stages they do there, or the classic games with their mid-stages. You have the option of what stages you want to do, and in any order. And then once you've got them all ordered up, you know, fight with what you got. So once you know what things give you what, you could actually come to this boss with all 3 elemental chips. I, of course, just have to destroy this thing, and yes, those spikes on the back are instant kill. So... Top tier gameplay until I die, which is gonna happen. But yeah, Zero here, the redesign, I remember a lot of... So, in researching the history of the franchise for my videos and stuff, I came across old discourse. There was a select group of X fans who, when this came out, said that this was not Zero. They would not believe that this was Zero because he looked so much different than what they were used to. But the thing is that Zero, it's a change of art style, not a change of character. I believe it was Reploid Revo who did Classic in the X style, which I didn't think was that much of a jump. So I legitimately was like, okay. I went through and I redrew the Mega Man 1 set of bosses with ZX design cues. And you seem to get a clunkier look at the bosses, unlike the slim look that you get with the Zero games. The idea behind making Zero so much slimmer and thinner, also, and changing the art style, is also to make it feel like Zero is tiny. He's small. Like, compared to all these gigantic bosses that are coming your way, Zero is the tiniest thing on the field. Yeah, but I also see it as a space-saving measure. You know, have a sprite, make it use a different thing. Have it use a different palette. And this is our final weapon for the game. This is going to be our shield boomerang. We can throw it, toss it, we can jump around it. This is going to be really overpowered. I promise you, it'll be really overpowered. It also deflects shots. Suppose I can switch it over to fire. Show you guys what that looks like. I like the way the fire looks. It just looks nice. I suppose I should introduce some of the other characters that we're going to be seeing throughout the series. This is Andrew. He is a older gentleman, and he's got some stories to tell if you come to him in between stages and things. I believe you get an achievement for listening to all of his stories across the games. To preface some of his story, he was married to a human lady, and they had a lovely life together, but she was very jealous of his younger looks because she was growing older and he wasn't. So, to match her, he made himself old. He went through the pain of making himself an older body, making his body older, just to be with her. And eventually she passed happily together, and he continues to stay old and survive to hopefully one day be reunited with her in the afterlife, even though he is a Reploid and she is a human. Here's these guys that we saved earlier from the compactor. Down there's energy storage. And this is Alouette. And she becomes a major character going forward. She eventually becomes the leader of the Maverick Hunters, and it's such a shame all the war that she ends up fighting and seeing, but lovely little girl. Lovely, lovely. And we'll be seeing more of her in ZX. And it's how we also get the confirmation that CL is a human and that nobody else in this base is. They're all Reploids. Hello, Foxino. Face. He transitioned into an elderly man. Yes. It's kind of a shame. So, once we climb out here, if we go to the left... So, just to show you guys that, yes, this is a Metroidvania, and you can go to any area you want to explore more. Here's the sandy area. There's a teleporter, because there's quick, fast travel points and everything. There's characters here blocking us off, so we haven't done that mission. We've done this one, but we can't go out there yet. Essentially, once you've completed all the sandy areas, you can go explore that. Off to the right here is going to be the trash compactor area. All we gotta do is get a little bit further down the way. There's the elevator, and here's where we started the trash compactor mission. I believe it's down here. Remember correctly, this is the rail station. Yep. There's where we did the train. Off to the right there's all of that, but off to the left here is death. But yeah, that's... The world map's all connected, but they don't really do a whole lot with it. But it does add to the world building that this really is the only city. So, like, you're not teleporting all around the world like you were in the past games. You are stuck to a city and its surrounding areas. So we're going to begin the mission. I believe the one that everybody wanted next was find the hidden base. He says, yay, death. Martin says, okay. That's something in chat that I'm not going to talk about. And... Mega Mad Max Zero. No, it's just Fist of the North Star. Alright, we're gonna get out this way. Fight a duel in the desert. I do want to talk about the music in this game, because it is phenomenal. If you've never heard the Zero game soundtrack, you're missing out, because this game has a amazing soundtrack here. So I believe down this way is where we're going to be fighting off against our first of the four Guardians. I haven't mentioned how X ruled yet. So X is basically ruled with... Copy X is kind of ruled with a bit of an iron fist. There were four Guardians that helped X near the end of the Elf Wars, known as... and they were called the Four Guardians, and eventually they were kept around to keep the peace and discuss what to do in terms of you know, humans and ruling and leading and how all of that goes. And they went through a lot of the same ethics training as X. But, you know, when the war isn't black and white, it's kind of hard to say what's right and what's wrong, so... Down underneath there is going to be where we'll fight Leviathan, if I remember correctly. And up this way is, I think... No, I don't... Maybe. I don't remember. Oh, right. I gotta slash it. So we're going to be freeing all of the prisoners. These were all Reploids planned to be scrapped from the Resistance. Even at the desert. He doesn't get the Z-Knuckle till later. He can't be Kenshiro yet. yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, they found us. But all we gotta do is, you know, defeat the guys and they'll let our men go free. Alright, you can see even some Pantheons are going to be scrapped for their energy. I'm gonna get probably gonna get a really low rank for this. Ranks become more of a thing in 0-2, and honestly, I prefer the way 0-3 and 4 handle it, but, you know. The final boss motivations and ideals were very compelling. Yeah, there's a lot of... So, the way that a lot of the series works is... You will probably be thinking, oh, a Mega Man game where you play it for the plot, you play it for the story, and then the gameplay is, like, masterfully crafted on top of that. It just changes the way you look at the series. And I think the Zero games really did help with getting the idea that this is just a bunch of NES games out of my head at least, because, you know, I knew there were more, but when a series is, you know, older like this, it's hard to be separated from the past titles. You know, you don't think Mario and then not go for Super Mario Bros. You know, it's just how it is. And yet somehow the Zero games having a deeper plot, more interesting motivations. It just becomes something else, you know? Alright. One more prisoner. Woot. Marcin retracted this comment before I could get to read it. That's alright. If chat has any questions about the Zero games and the way they link to the X games, I am down to talk. Over there. That's an interesting topic. Why did Zero Series not redefine / set a new standard in the same way Ocarina of Timers did for Zelda? I have an explanation. And this is gonna sound dumb at first. Because it was on the Game Boy Advance. You see, this is a great hack and slash action game with a wonderfully crafted plot about what it means to be human and, you know, all the ways that all the ways that things can be hurt when you separate people from machine. especially this far down the line. So the reason it didn't set that new standard was because it was on the Game Boy. Nobody was paying attention to the Game Boy. Think about it. How many games from the Game Boy Advance do you hear talked about nowadays? Yeah, you might hear Battle Network, but you're more likely to hear about Wind Waker, you're more likely to hear about Ocarina of Time on the N64, you're more likely to hear about Crash Bandicoot, Mario 64, Mario Galaxy. Heck, you're more likely to hear about Ratchet and Clank. Like, just when it comes to the topic of why didn't this set a new standard, it's pretty obvious. It's because it was on the Game Boy. Nobody was paying attention to the Game Boy. And when nobody's paying attention to the Game Boy, well, even the best of game is going to be lost to the ether. It's like putting a great game on the Jaguar. Nobody was going to pay attention to Rayman if it stayed on the Jaguar. But the minute it was on the PlayStation, everybody took notice. So, the reason that this is not the new standard for certain platformers is probably just because not as many people played it, because not as many people talked about it, because it was on the Game Boy. Which I think is a shame. But, I mean, it can't really be helped now. Alright. Pokemon. Yeah, exactly. But what else? Did Pokemon set a new standard? Not really. We're only now getting Pokemon clones. After it already came to console. Hollow J oversaw Pokemon, the only Game Boy game we talk about. Well, the thing is, I love the Game Boy Advance. I love playing stuff like Bomberman Max. I love playing stuff like Mega Man Zero and ZX on the DS. I love playing the Battle Network and Star Force games. I love playing these old Game Boy games, but the problem is there's just not as much... There's not as many people talking about it, which is a shame. But yes, welcome, Hollow. Sylveon says Gen 3 is lit. It's fire red. Oh, you're funny. An hour in, and I don't think we're at the halfway point. So now we're at the latter end of the train. And we're set out to just kind of look around. Down there is something. I don't remember exactly. But it's going to be a bit tough. As here you can see kind of the city sky and how it fits together. So we've got the city. And we're on kind of the outer edge around a body of water. So we kind of got to infiltrate the city to get anywhere. Neo Arcadia doesn't last, by the way. I'm sorry to say. Now I know Flash. Quick question for you, Flash and Blake, because I know you guys, you and Rio and you did Legends 2 recently, and I can't seem to jog my memory. Was there a town called Arcadia in Legends 2? I cannot remember for the life of me. Not that you've seen so far. That's what I thought. Alright. And we rescued Colbert. This is Harpooya. This is going to be our main antagonist, or rival-ish sort of thing. We're trying to convince the Guardians that, hey, X is a copy, and if you just listen to CL, for just a moment, we might be able to think through the energy crisis instead of fighting and causing mass genocide to Reploids. And this fight is insanely fun. I believe we're going to switch to ice. So Harpooya is electric based, so ice attacks are going to do more. You can stun lock him as long as you are fast enough. I believe we're going to re-equip the Buster. As long as you can hit him before the last hit, you're good. Eventually, we do get to play as this character, though, so... Or, well, a form of this character. A character with the abilities. But that'll be in ZX, so... And ZX Advent, so... Charge triple rod spun the spam here. I believe you. Now, I know there's a lot of Leviathan stands out there, Flashing Blades, so I don't know if we can say Harpooya's the best, but he's certainly one of my favorites. Yamero? I don't know what that means. Chart triple rod is fun to spam, yep. Zay says, I like the name. Yeah, they're all based on, different weapons and attributes, so... Their names being Fefnir, Leviathan, Phantom, and Harpooya. Fefnir is second best. Oh, so where are we ranking Leviathan then? Because we're about to go fight him. And in fact, this is one of the only... I'm missing 2 achievements in this game. And this is one of them. So, there is an achievement here for beating... Oh, what is it? Let me check real quick. Complete all Z-Chaser stages. I just haven't unlocked the hidden one yet. And destroy the ice dragon summoned by Leviathan's spirit of the ocean. I have not done that yet. You gotta come here at a certain rank, and I believe it's like A to S rank or something like that. And I just usually don't have the skill for it. So, if I get it today, that'll be really cool. There's the sub. They were getting closer and closer to the base with the sub, planning on attacking with it. The sides are a bit slick, so we can't really cling on to it. Something else that I didn't mention before was the rank names. So you might have noticed I got like Sluggish Gunman, Collector. All of those are based on how you play the game, so if you've got everything in the stage, you'll probably get Collector. If you use swords more, you'll get something else. Alright, up we go. Hello, Chronobird! Last. Harp, Fep, Phantom, okay. Gotcha. We're destroying some robots. Yes. And here's the mother computer. As you can see, it looks a lot like the mother computer from Looks a lot like, the, computers from X2, which I think is a nice attention to detail. If I remember correctly, we just gotta leave, right? I know Ice Dragon's a skill, but I don't know how to get it, and I'm just not good at getting it. I haven't gotten it. You gotta come here, have a high enough rank, and I just don't normally have a high enough ranks to get it. But here's Leviathan. I think Shiva would have been a much nicer name, but I understand. Not where the inspiration came from. Okay. All right. There's that. Sylveon says you can't get EX skills in 0-1. No. Read it again. It says destroy the ice dragon summoned with Leviathan's Spirit of the Ocean EX skill in 0-1. I have to destroy something she spawns, but she only spawns it when you're a high enough rank. Has nothing to do with an EX skill in 0-1. I know there aren't EX skills in 0-1. That's why I haven't gotten the achievement, is because you need an A rank when you go into the stage. And I usually don't have A rank when I get there. So, sorry to burst the bubbles. I know everybody was watching. Sylveon, that's what I said. You're jumping ahead a little bit too much. Alright. Zenny goes pop. We got a duel in the desert. And then... Alright, so... Is everybody gearing up for the finale, the ending here? Because we are getting close to the end. So, we have to take care of the troops. We are head of the rebellion here. We just gotta take care of everything that comes our way as we cross the desert. As you notice, we can't go back. So, enemies respawning is not something we could do. So stay low to the ground and make your way through it. I just wasn't close enough. There we go. This song is really good. Something that I haven't mentioned yet about the 0ZX collection that makes it super cool is the fact that they released a soundtrack DLC, which can be played in the stages, so you don't have to hear the Game Boy Advance's sound chip for certain tracks, and this is one of the tracks I wish they would have done, because it's so good. long as we don't let any of the enemies really get past us, we'll get a pretty good rank on the stage. But yeah, I think that wheelie dudes. Oh, come on now. There we go. Alright, here comes the chopper. Let me catch up on chat. When you want that A, but you get the L. Yeah, I feel it. Arnold voice, I'll be back. Yeah, get to the chopper and put the cookie down, right? Oh, you're fine, Zenny. Cornerbird says, great time for the meathead. Get to the chopper. Yeah, this is Fafnir. I love his design, but his gameplay style is a little goofy. Essentially, he's got a big old buster. And he's none too happy. You can actually charge up your sub and your main weapon at the same time, so if I was playing this with great skill, I'd be able to blast through. He used his EX move here. Well, not EX move, but his, I don't know what to call it. It later appears in ZX, so I suppose we'll learn in a couple games, but I've only got 6 games for this little bit of the retrospective. It keeps getting less and less as we go along. Mission's complete. We beat Fafnir. Yeah, B rank. I could have taken less hits, less damage, but, you know, not bad. And now it's time to protect the factory. This is the final mission before we get to the end. If you guys have been enjoying the Zero playthrough so far, please share it with a friend. I've been trying my best to get this to get out there. And it's been kind of tough. So, Phantom here is unique in the fact that he has a boss fight before you do his stage. He doesn't really care that much. He doesn't have an element, so having an element on isn't really going to change anything. He hit the wrong guy, he bonks you on the head. This version of Phantom has the most amount of personality compared to the one we will see later on. Phantom does not come back. Throughout 02, 03, and 04, we don't see him again until ZX and ZX Advent, where he has essentially been reconstructed with a digitized voice. That's how badly he destroyed his own data, as you'll see here in a second. Which I think is insane. So, we'll see him later on, and he will basically, he offs himself. Small dog. Small dog. I don't see any fan games or anything using those sprites at all. So, I believe there is some up here. This is an enemy that gets reused a lot later on. I actually really like that enemy. This Canodome looking guy. There are 8 readings, all of the bombs. The Cyber Worlds, that's how I tie Classic and EXE. Yeah, we'll get to that in 03. He's back in 03 as a ghost. Yeah, kinda. I'm actually going to be playing with a card enabled for a certain card enabled for 03, just to drive home the fact that the games are kind of sort of connected. So we're just going to run through the bottom portion here. No, you haven't, Zero. Just checking around the lower section. If I remember correctly, a majority of them are in the moving platform section of the stage. Oh, well, there's one of them. Down goes that. 5 left. Our next one's gonna be up on one of these. Wind sounds. You're being cheeky and clever. We got 4 to go. Just gonna keep using the saber here. Up there's where another cyber elf would be at. Oh no. I gotta go back around. Dang it. Yeah, we're gonna have to loop around to get that one. Loop around this way and then fall down the first pit. Actually, while we're up here, I think we can get this one. Platforming with bottomless pits is my favorite. Yeah, Chronobird, this is definitely one of those stages where I'm like, take it or leave it. It's not like I dislike this stage, I just do not like the fact that it's just constant bottomless pits. Luckily, every other Zero game does not have this problem. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that between 0, 3, 4, and 2, you really do see a lot of the highlights of the series. Granted, I've also seen a lot more people complain about 0 and ZX, specifically ZX, which I don't get, because I thought ZX was, like, really, really good, but I come back to ZX every couple of years. It's one of those games where it's like, it's kind of like Symphony of the Night, where it's like, I'll play it. In fact, I think that ZX has a lot in common with Symphony. I am struggling to win here. Alright, so it's not up there. It's... Oh, dang it. I destroyed the bot under my foot. The small screen is a killer for you? Well, this was a Game Boy Advance game, so you can actually change the screen resolution. Like, you can make it tiny, you can make it big. I have it to this because this is the nearest pixel perfect filter, but, like, yeah, you could fill out the screen if you really want. But yeah, one thing that I haven't mentioned yet in the Zero games at all is the fact that You're not the hero. You're also not the villain, but you're the hero's bodyguard. CL is actually more or less the main character throughout this. Until that happens, I hope we can... 0. Alright. Enemy troops are attacking the base. We can't hold out any longer. The crunching, I think it's called. Oh, yeah. That's the only time in the entire Zero series where I believe there is any sort of crunch. Because every other time they play to the Game Boy Advance's strength. The portraits for 01 were actually a rush job from what I remember. They ended up just pulling the artwork they had on hand to do the, and then digitizing them down to make them fit the handheld. They're really... The Zero games themselves have a lot of, they have a lot of qualities that make it clear that they're not rush jobs, but they have little moments where it's like, oh, well that was rushed, and that was rushed, and that was rushed. So our first task here is to save Servo. We're gonna come over here. In there, they blocked themselves in. Now the elevator works. Barricaded that door as well. Alright. Their goal was just to kind of trap us in there. As you can see, Alouette dropped her plushie. That plushie's gonna be real important later on. Down here with the energy reserves, it seems like they're attacking down here to steal the energy and basically starve us out. And here's a monkey! We're not gonna like this monkey. Monkey! There's a lot of furries in this game. Isn't it weird? No wonder I yeah, no, it really is no wonder I'm a furry. Like... Oh! There's just giant robot animals that walk on two legs. Oh, and the Zero series has more. Oh, and ZX has even more. And look at Data. Isn't he adorable? Yeah, no, it really is no wonder. Mega Man, the one series you think wouldn't have furry bait, it has furry bait all over the place. Which I think is hilarious. It's like playing a Sonic game and then just seeing a bunch of humans. Like, is that not hilarious to you? Like, it's the exact opposite of what you think you signed up for. Alright, we're gonna equip the lightning element to discharge the fire. This monkey's gonna come back in the next game, if I remember. Next game or 03, if I remember correctly. One of the two, if not both. All I know is I love the sprites. Zenny says he's a floof. Oh no, my cat. So I don't know. I got nothing. X does not exist. I'll take care of that. Just tell me where he is. You can go directly to the core of the trans server. Unfortunately, we haven't cracked the security system in their trans server yet. Without the trans server, you won't be able to reach your destination easily. If you're away from the base for such a long time, I don't know what might happen to us. And now our little friend comes back from the beginning of the game. This is X. Yeah, so we're paying the favor from X1 all those many years ago. X saved 0. And now it's X and 0 off to the base. It really is just like old times. It is kind of wonderful to see X again, even if it is in this form. Cronenberg says, yeah, I think Furry Base started from X1. Yeah, kinda. Sylveon says X got thinner. Well, you're not seeing his full form. You're seeing just a little bit of data out of him. So, we are in the resistance base, but we need to go, I believe, the Arcadian Shrine? Yes. Welcome to the first of the castle stages. So, this game is structured somewhat close to the X and Classic games, but after this, we're going to get a whole lot more story-driven. So the thing I didn't mention was why they were harvesting the robot bodies. So the bodies themselves aren't what matters. The cyber elves are what matter. In fact, cyber elves can be harnessed for all sorts of power sources. So the idea that Copy X had was, well, to keep the humans living comfortably. They don't need Reploids. And just essentially is like, well, we'll just use the Reploids to fuel everything. The problem is that's still an unsustainable source of energy. It's a start, but it's causing a problem as well. You can't just, when you have a finite number of Reploids to destroy, a finite number of cores, a finite number of cyber elves, it's clear that it's just desecrating a body to solve a problem that could be solved in a different way. So, yeah. I said there was robot, well, I can't say the word on YouTube, but yeah. Mass robot unaliving, for lack of a better term. Essentially, the Reploids here are all doomed to die. The robots are gonna be dismantled, and the only thing humans are gonna have left is the small human population, which, not great. We're gonna have lots of little fights like this against really well-animated sprites. Love this series. Speaking of, Mecha Burna Blaster took my advice recently after the Hollow Knight stream. So shoutouts to him, because they started playing the Zero games. So, pretty awesome to hear from that. I found that out a couple weeks ago. Retirement. Yeah, there. Let's go with that word. This is also going to be the last time we're going to see a couple of different things, including, well, not the last time we'll see Yoku blocks, but yeah, you got Yoku blocks that shoot. But it is going to be the last time we see a devil. If you thought the Yellow Devil was so bad, and you thought that they couldn't get any worse than Raw Moon, then you saw the Shadow Devil. Oh, trust me. You ain't seen nothing yet. This fight is a pain. In kind of a good way. I enjoy this fight just because it's so difficult, but it's also just it's something. So the developers of the collection, of this collection in particular, when they did they added a new mode called Z Chaser. Do you guys want to see the Z Chaser mode? It is up to you guys. I will let you take a vote. If enough people say sure, I'll do it, but... There we go. Okay. The fact that you can't climb up the blocks is a bit annoying, especially because the X-Series Yoku blocks allowed you to. But hey. I'm not in-game designed anymore. I haven't been in a number of years, so who am I to say, right? I do like all the added little checkpoints, though. They certainly help. And just like that, we're at our boss. Let me catch up. Hollis says, let it rip. Flashing Blade says, nope, Rainbow Devil comes back for 0-2. Oh, thank you. Sorry. My bad. My bad. But it is the same devil at the end of the day. Let's call it Fatality. Devil when? Says Sylveon. I don't know. Chronobert says yes. Marcin says what? Sylveon says vacation. Okay. So, we have a little beetle guy to fight first. Now, up until this point, Zero does not know where Copy X came from. He still thinks it's kind of sort of a real version of X. And it was up to this point in development that, you know, because, you know, the Mega Man games were developed on kind of a schedule where the final stages were made last. They clearly wanted this so badly to be X. But it really would have soured the mood, and with X6 coming out very shortly before this did, we're gonna learn soon that, X is a copy, and when you find out that X is a copy, we find out who made the copy, and why she feels so strongly that she has to fix this for all of humanity and the Reploids living under the regime of X. The Elf Wars was caused by one particular character, though. Although, we're not going to be introduced to him till, I think, the next game? Like, near the very end. Dr. Weil is the character. In Japan, he's called Dr. Vile. That was changed due to, you know, the audience not wanting the confusion to stick around. Here's a little reference. The pattern of the blocks going up this direction are very similar to the ones in, Mega Man 7. So there's a little wink and nod. Especially since these are technically Gutsman platforms, although a bit sturdier. Thanks to the Rookie Hunter mode, I don't have to worry too much about... Or I believe it's called Casual mode here. I don't have to worry about the spikes, so... Just gonna keep making our way up. Or, you know, fall all the way down. That's a good plan too, Zero. Let's just go with that. Felipe says it's Pride Month demon meme. No. I didn't know that had a... I didn't think that had a face to it or anything. I thought it was just words. It's a really stupid meme, though. Like, I don't get it. Their biggest problem is telling people how to live. It's weird. I don't get it. I don't understand. I guess that goes into the same concept here of telling Reploids how to live. Telling Reploids their death date. All ties back to Mega Man 9 in the end, right? Right. So here's the Rainbow Devil. Here's what I've been talking about. I thought it was Sauron that caused the Elf Wars. It was Dr. Weil wanting a... So, Dr. Weil caused the Elf Wars by insisting that the Mother Elf would not work, and that what they needed to do was create more cyber elves to be destroyed if Reploids are just gone. Essentially, he wanted to create a power vacuum where X and Zero are gone and destroyed, Axel's no longer in the picture, and he could rise to power. And then he could continue to build that power by destroying neighboring cities, and essentially start an early apocalypse. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. He gets exiled and forced to live forever wandering the desert, no longer allowed to live in the only city inhabitable by humans. So, Dr. Weil's kind of problem is the fact that he was doomed to live forever and went insane with power and tried to fill a power vacuum with Copy X. Oh, Lord of the Ring joke. I haven't seen it. Yeah, pretty much. Process data. We're going to go ahead and save. Now, this says I've only been playing for like 50 minutes, but I think by the videos, how long we've been going, we're about at 2 hours. Begin mission, Neo Arcadia Core. Let's go after Copy X, shall we? So, from that room back there, that's where it connects. I don't know why they didn't just let us walk to it. I think it builds more of a world when you can just walk to the area. Granted, they didn't do much with the whole hub world thing until ZX, so... Shrug! We're gonna have a boss refight, though, so... Left or right, up or down? Pick your poison here, chat. Pick your door. We're gonna have to do them all anyways, so... Points at the screen. Up, down, top right. Thank you. I knew this was gonna happen immediately. I was like, up, down. Yep, there it is. Down, top right, up. Yep, there we are. There we are. We got all of it. So all we gotta do here... Melt the ice a little bit. I just love the designs here. Zero and ZX also had a manga, believe it or not. I don't know how well preserved those mangas are. It might run into the same issue of Battle Network with the whole not preserved extremely well. But I do know there were English translations done by, I believe, Viz Media. So I saw up after that, so we're gonna do the up one. Down left will be the next one. It's 4:02 in the afternoon for me. Marson. The Boktai manga I have. Did that have a crossover with... I know it had a crossover with Battle Network. Did it have a crossover with Zero as well? Just out of curiosity. Stupid question, I'm sure. I love the remixed soundtrack here. It's so good. If you can't hear it, just go look it up. It's amazing. It makes this worthwhile because the remixed music is actually free DLC. You don't have to even buy it, so it's like really cool. Down left is the next one that we're doing. Not with Zero Boktai? I don't think so. Okay. Remember the Boktai forums asking which manga was worse, SBD or MMZ? Oh. Huh. It's a good read, said Hollow. Good. That's good to know. I never actually found it. I don't actually have that many Mega Man books. And that's what's been taking so long with the video, is all of the books. I have all of my stuff written for the side games. I have all my stuff written for the knockoffs. I have everything written for, like, the Pachinko game. You know, Mighty Number 9. I've got everything written down for all the cartoons. I just don't have that. All of the books I have listed are hard to find. And I'm like, ugh. Because I've got stuff where I'm like, okay, I gotta find a translation to this one, where is this one? It's getting easier to find them, but, like, not in any official sense. And for any of the live action bits that I want to do, because I want to do some live action shots for the video. I think it'd be really interesting, but, you know, to have an actual video of me in a chair talking, rather than, you know, just the drawn artwork. Especially because my suit head should be done here soon. Should be being the key word. What am I doing? But yeah, no, just the mangas in general are a little tough. No. They say they love a boss rush rematch, not even 10 minutes after the fight. Yeah. Yeah, that's certainly something that happens. They're going to have another one of these, by the way, so feel free to pick the next one, guys. Oh, is he fire? If ice didn't do anything. Oh, is it thunder? Am I going crazy? It is thunder. Why are you fire elemental? You don't even have any that many fire attacks. What? Alrighty, Honda. But yeah, there's your Street Fighter reference, the 100 punch from Piston Honda, not Piston Honda, E Honda. God, I'm all over the place today. We're doing 0, 2, and 3 this week as well, so stay on the lookout for tomorrow. All right. Do a quick dash up and over. Edmund Honda, thank you. Which of the 4 Reploid bosses is the cutest? Well, there's a lot of Reploid bosses from the X and Zero series, so you'll have to be a bit more specific. And I don't really find many of them to be that cute. But, did I play Gravity Circuit? I played the demo. Haven't got it yet. Sorry, haven't played it yet. I played the demo. I was only okay with what I played, and I was like, okay. Pick the next door, guys. We had up and down and left and right for each of those options. Foxta. Okay. We're getting on interesting topics today. I wasn't expecting to be talking about which one was the cutest Reploid or shipping characters or anything like that today. I was hoping to have Casey on for me today, but she has to get her computer fixed, so I was like, yeah, whatever. I can do 0-1 without you. We can do a little recap on 0-2. Bottom right. The first one I saw. Bottom right, then down left, then we're going up right, bottom right. Door bottom left. Okay. Alright. So here we got Leviathan again. And of course, I still don't have that lovely A rank that I want. Alright. I wasn't expecting today to get as few as I did, but, you know. I mean, I could do 0, 2, and 3 today as well, but I've got the energy for it, but I know the minute I go to take a break, I'm going to be exhausted, so. Let's see. We had bottom right, then down left, and then up right. Oh, these 4. I don't know. I guess out of the first 4, I suppose I'd have to give it to Anubis. I guess. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. To each their own, I suppose. From this, I guess either Harpuya or Phantom. Even then, none of them would make good material, I'm gonna be honest. A little bit too calm and collected. And Harpuya is a bit of a jerk, and Fafnir is a bit of a hothead for no reason, and here we go! We have to avoid each of those. And then once you do, just basically stand back from him. And make sure to jump at the right time, and you'll be fine. Down left and then up right. All the other Guardians make it out of this, but Phantom does not. You like the flying guy? Alright. Why do I not have it? What do you, I think you mean, like, energy-wise? Energy-wise, I just know I'm not gonna have enough energy to keep going. I've been, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I've been feeling really nauseous and weak and woozy lately, and I've been, like, you know, I've been snacking on some healthier stuff, taking some medicine and stuff to try and help. It just, I don't know whether it's the temperature, the air quality, my tooth, or just because I was sick the other week. I honestly couldn't tell you, because I've just been feeling really off. And today I feel good, but I still feel off, and I feel like the minute I stand up, I'm gonna want to sit right back down. Heck, it could just be depression. I have no idea at this point. I'll take any excuse. So long as it's a logical and reasonable one. And not just because your body said so. Like... Alright, and I am just going to... And this is how you beat Harpuya without really getting hit. Is avoiding the attacks, hitting him with an ice ball, jumping over his 2 shots, hitting him with an ice ball, really easy fight. Kinda silly, honestly. Poll end you calculated. I can fix our pre and make him worse. Depends on how I feel. This is played by Bro. Rage quitted life. Yeah, he did. Phantom. Yep. Zenny says maybe all of them. Phantom really didn't take that L in a good way. No, he did not. No sad, angry happy face. Okay. Felipe says it be like that sometimes. I had to committed Sweden. Sweden. I like that. Phantom Pain. Metal Gear. Yeah. Like these little shield attacker dudes. Just so many little references in the enemy design. I really do like this game. I like the entirety of the Zero series. You're gonna hear me sing a lot of praises. The only minor gripes you're gonna hear me talk about are like little systems that changed across 0-1 to 0-2. Like the EX skills, I don't think that was a good idea. The way they handled it. But, you know, the part system is great and everything else. But here's our big boss for the game. Here is Copy X. It's a replicated body of X, so it's a one-to-one schematic design of his final form. Armors and all. The only difference is the soul of X is not in there. The humans have found happiness more than ever before. The utopia that humans have searched for is here in Neo Arcadia. This is something that you and the original X could never create. Only I could do this. Except he didn't do this. Yeah, there's a lot of problems here with this guy. X puts on his armor, and we go. Next time we see Copy X, by the way, is a real fun time. Copy X likes to change his weakness each time he gets knocked around a little bit. So here he's fire. Hit him with lightning. Here he's lightning. Hit him with ice. I wish there was a quick way to swap, but that would require a few more buttons than the Game Boy Advance had. Here's ice. We'll switch to fire. And yeah, his attack changes. He's got stuff like shotgun ice. He's got this rapid volley of shots. He's got this giga attack dash with his buster out. And here's where we get a little reference to Lumine. Or, well, any Seraphim, really. All you gotta do is dash to the side. This is the worst attack that he can perform. He can actually hit you from outside, but all we gotta do is go up on top here and hit him in the head. He doesn't really have an elemental weakness, so it's more or less just when you can hit him. And don't be worried if he takes you out. He did that to me a couple times, too. But then we'll just pick right back up from where we're at here. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Sylveon says biblically accurate X. Well, Felipe, this is the final boss of the game, so I mean it's not that bad. Honestly, for the how well the rest of the game went, despite how little practice I've had, I'm not as worried about the rest of the series. X here can be manipulated. And, in fact, the spear here is one of the best weapons to knock him around with. And see, every time he gets kinda close, he just gets knocked away. This has been, the sections in between the fight have actually been animated by somebody. And I believe there's a zero dub on YouTube, where they play through the whole game, rating every bit of dialogue with proper voice acting. And I'd love to see that implemented into the Zero ZX collection on Steam. Like, just all of the voice and dialogue they do, just, why not? Throw it in there. Ultimate Maverick X, thank you. Yeah, I figured they were the one, I just didn't want to be wrong and mess that up a little bit. I thought they used the radio drama. No. There's a group of people on YouTube who dubbed 01, started work on 02. They weren't using the radio drama, they were using the actual dialogue in the game. Ultimate Maverick X is the one that used the radio drama for the voice acting. Gotta stay on the platform when he does that. Honestly, if I had to compare this to any boss fight in the entire, like, Mega Man franchise, I would say this is about as close as you can come to Sigma. Like, Sigma 1. The dog Sigma. Definitive Dubs did it. Yes, thank you. You guys are helping me out a lot today. And just like that, Copy X is down. Zenny says, if X is such a powerful Reploid, then why don't they mass produce his body and just upload his mind into them? Because that's not what X would have wanted. That's not what X wanted at all. X was unique. Reploids are supposed to be replicated versions of X. They use X's blueprints to create a machine with free will. But Copy X, you can't force the cyber up to go into a different body. Like, that's just not how it functions. It's like trying to stick a different motor in your car when it's 3 times as big. Like, you just can't. You can't stick a train engine in your car. Especially not at the scale and size that it is. So, essentially, the real X couldn't go into the body. And if X would have gone Maverick back then you'd have a whole different set of worms on your hands. Like, you'd have a whole army of Reploids with nobody stop them. So, there's a lot of reasons to not. He no longer cared about fighting. There you go. There's what X's final form looks like. That ring of data around his head, that halo, was later shown off in Tekken to be the variable weapon system. That is how he pulls the weapons. The gem on his head, the angelic form, the cross on his shirt. It's as if he transcended time like a Buddhist, you know? Just kind of meditated in peace so long that he transcended everything. Zero made it out okay, but he's not going back to the Resistance right away. Zero remembers some of it, but there's an endless slew of pantheons left to fight. Rest for a while. I'll handle it. Zero goes in. And there you go. That is the origin story for Mega Man Zero, and what gives Zero the right to call himself Mega Man. At this point, Mega Man is nothing but a title. Zero is his name, and he is a Mega Man. Not one of the best Zero titles, but it's a great starting point, and it's fantastic in its conception. It's so difficult, but it's so good. The music is amazing, the soundtrack's great, the level design is on par with the X series. This is just the best of all of it, and if you haven't picked up this game yet, I encourage you, I implore you, play this game. Mega Man Zero is worth every penny. Especially if you get the ZX collection. I can't recommend paying $100 for a Game Boy game. But $30-40 for a collection of four awesome Game Boy games and 2 amazing DS titles that tell a fantastic epilogue story of what happens where do you go after Mavericks have ravaged the world. It's so good. And there's just so much hope being placed in Zero's hands. In Zero 2, we'll find out what solved the Maverick problem originally. What stopped Sigma and Lumine. And we'll also learn what's going to happen to X. I'm going to catch up on chat real quick. So did you guys want to see the Z Chaser mode? Out of curiosity. Holy Emperor X says Chrono Bird. Felipe says nice dress. Chrono versus give him a month, it'll be edgy. Slovens, you truly were a Mega Man 01. Yeah. 02 is where things heat up quite a bit, so. 2 hours, though, for this first game, that's not bad. Alrighty. So, you guys wanted to see the Z Chaser mode. Just gonna run through the credits here. There's my final rank of B rank. Well, yeah, that was 01. I will show off the Z Chaser mode. So, Z Chaser is a kind of multiplayer, kind of not, kind of speedrunning mode. You can go for world records, you can verse double. Since we're doing 01, I'll just show off the normal mode. So all you gotta do is pick a stage. We'll go for the dispenser here. Why not? I'll go in. And then you can start with dual display. You can use the arranged music or not, but we'll start it in the dual display just to show you what I'm talking about. So essentially, I'm on the left. The other guy is on the right. And all you gotta do is beat him. Beat him to the end. Beat him to the boss. You're given all of your skills, all your tools. The only stuff you don't have is a second health bar, and you don't have... Yep. Just gonna use that as our speedy getaway. Also, you gotta set your controls before you start, or else you will lag behind the other opponent. I'm using a completely different controller layout here for this this run in particular. As you can see, I am handily beating him. But yeah, this is Z-Chaser. You could do 2 players with this, and you'll play at the same time, and you'll race. You could do online play with this. The leaderboards are always there. You can even watch other people on the leaderboard to see how they beat the boss. As you can see, I'm still a little rusty. My record is 124, but I usually play single screen and just let the meters in the bottom do me in. There we go.
You lose.
I lost, but hey, it's alright. It's alright, I've done this before. But yeah, it's not too bad. I honestly think it's a really cool mode. But yeah.
Z-Chaser.
That was Z-Chaser. That was 0-1. Marson says they're back. Welcome back. Corona Bird says they're going to sleep. Thanks for the stream. Whoop. Yep. That's it for me. Tomorrow we'll be doing 0-2, and that'll be it for... But that's it for today, guys. I hope everybody really enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like, share the link with a friend, make a post on Twitter about it. You can even tag me at GavinDragonYT. We have a Discord in the description, as well as a Telegram art dump where you can see what I'm up to on my off time and even chat with the community. I've got a PayPal link on the screen or in the description below if you guys feel so inclined to donate. Yeah, there'll be stuff to click on once this video gets done processing on YouTube's end, but I have been your humble host. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.